you know, because I had been in the space since 2012. And, you know, I learned so much, and I feel like, you know, Black women, we have this ability to overlearn and still have a sense of imposter syndrome.
Yes.
Yeah. Be the best.
We know it all.
The talent, everything.
The degrees, the bag it up. And welcome back to another episode of The Bud Brunch. I'm your co-host, Lucia.
And I'm your co-host, Ashley.
And you are tuned in to another great chapter of A Grown Woman's Guide to Cannabis. Today's chapter, we are focusing on
high cuisine and hosting. An elevated experience.
Yes. One of my favorite, I guess, things to do, because I work in food and beverage. So that's definitely right up my alley. I love a great dining experience. And, you know, the little cannabis in there. Let me see. A little bit more fun.
So when it comes to women, since this is the Grown Women's Guide to Cannabis, do you prefer to inhale your cannabis or consume it? Eat it?
Well, Buds, we want to know what you guys think too. So make sure you head over to our YouTube and Spotify. That is The Bud Brunch.
On everything.
And find this episode and go ahead and give us your answer on what you guys prefer to either smoke or eat. I'm a smoker by default.
Okay.
I feel like it's just one of the things that I was first introduced to. I've fallen in love with the habits of rolling. So, like, when I don't roll it up, like, am I really high? Like, it just, I don't really know. Happen? Yeah, I don't feel like, I feel like I get a better high because of the practice of rolling.
The ritual.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I would think that most women would prefer to eat their cannabis just because it's a little more discreet. You know, you can pop a gummy anywhere you go versus smelling loud. But I mean, either way you get it in, it's good to consume.
Especially as a mom too, or a busy woman. Excuse me, not just a mom.
On the go.
Any woman can be busy.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely allows you to consume on the go. But I will say, I have found a new appreciation for edibles, you know, now that, you know, the legalization, when it did come around. I really like it, especially around that time of month. It really kind of helps, like, mellow me out.
And, like, I can imagine.
Keep me cool.
Yes. So what are we doing for our home grower?
Oh, yes, because I'm your favorite home grower. That's growwithlisa.com if you guys want to learn more about home cultivation. But I would love to use our cultivation word for our guest today. It would be nutrients.
Okay, tell me why.
Nutrients are ways that we feed our plants, and the type of nutrients that you give it, depending on the part of the cycle, the plant cycle that you're in, really helps to allow the plant to thrive in that state. So like if it's in our vegetative stage, we're really nurturing the roots and allowing the plant to like grow and expand. And in the flowering stage, you want to give it enough power to be able to bud and produce large buds that, you know, have a decent level of potency depending on the strain. So I feel like somebody who is a good chef is being able to provide us with the nutrients that we need in that meal, to really kind of like serve for the moment or the purpose. So if we're having like a high upscale dinner party, you know, having the right proteins and the perfect greens and starches to have a good balance, versus if we're doing like what do you call it, a football party or something like that, where, you know, you're dealing with more finger foods, things that are just kind of quick and easy to consume. Yeah. So I like the word nutrients to really help describe our next guest, which is a chef.
Yes, Chef Lo.
Chef Lo from the company Infused, which creates some high level experiences. And when I say high, no pun intended, but
Right.
for real, upscale
Elevated.
experiences with her experience in the culinary space, and just really providing people in the DMV area with something they've probably never experienced before.
I think it's definitely a sophisticated stoner type of vibe. We got to experience one of hers before, one of her events, and it's a different vibe. It's very classy, it's very elegant, very elevated.
Yeah, for sure. So we should get to it. Because I can't wait to speak to her.
I want to dive deeper into all of the high cuisine that she does. Are you ready, Bud? Pour up.
Roll up. Let's talk. Welcome to the show, Chef Love. Thanks for coming on. Just for those who aren't familiar with you, obviously chef meaning that you are a chef, but just let our buds know a little bit more about you and what and how you add to the Grown Women's Guide.
Of course. So I'm Chef Lo with Infused, NFSD. No vowels, but it is still pronounced Infused. So I created the business as a segue in my career from luxury hospitality into cannabis. I really wanted to take my personal experience in hospitality and create a space around cannabis where it's more elevated. I think that, seeing something beautiful and tasting something beautiful and feeling beautiful things enhance any experience. So why not add in cannabis with that? Because all of those senses are usually more heightened when you are indulging.
It is.
So that's where I got the idea of Infused, and I just really focused on creating an experience. So not just serving food or not just putting cannabis in food, but also educating about, the different levels and the different terpenes and flavor profiles, as well as, cooking with mindful ingredients. I'm very aware of, where my produce comes from, what type of proteins I'm serving. Like you mentioned in the beginning, nutrients is a big thing for me because I feel like for a long time we kind of thought of soul food as something that was, it tastes good.
Right.
What is the actual nutrient value or the nutritional value of the food? And that is the food that really feeds the soul.
Yeah.
So that's what I like to provide.
Yeah. So
It's
speaking
very
of
intentional.
beautiful thing, and we definitely want to jump into our What's in Your Glass segment where we feature products. This time it's from our guest today. Can you let us a little more about this CBD enriched sensual oil? It's called Fuel.
It is. It's called Fuel. Because it is to fuel your intimate moments. So it is a massage oil.
Ooh, hold on, I like that. She said to fuel your intimate moments.
Honestly, so it's a massage oil. Everything in it is natural. All the ingredients are natural. Actually, I had a client who asked me to do something for her that she could use with her partner who did not partake in cannabis traditionally. And she wanted something that was intimate. And so we came up with the oil. And what it does is it has the CBD in it, so it relaxes your body. CBD and CBN, and CBN actually promotes sleep. So it's really good for the nighttime if you just want to have your partner massage you, or if you want to massage yourself. But then you can also take it a step further. And you can put it exactly where it needs to go.
Okay.
And it increases circulation, so it increases the feel. Like we said, cannabis in different forms, it heightens your senses. So
it's a caution on here. It says the oil is safe to ingest during foreplay, but not recommended in large amounts.
Yes. So it is coconut oil based.
It smells really good. It feels really good.
It has essential oils in it. So that's why, typically you don't want to eat a lot of something that has essential oils in it, but essential oils are also the natural oils from said plant or herb. So we do use a food grade essential oil blend, and it increases everything. The circulation being increased really helps with the sense of feel.
I like the combination of cannabinoids you use, because the CBN is definitely the sleepy cannabinoid. So that helps to induce that relaxation, calming the anxieties you might have about performance or anything like that.
Yes.
So that's a great little combo for what it's for. I get to keep that, right?
I get to keep it. For both of y'all.
That's what I can use this all night.
All you have to do
Yes.
and it'll decongeal all the way.
Okay.
And you shake it up. It also has food grade gold in it, so you shimmer a little bit.
Girl.
Yes.
That warm water is gonna warm it up too.
Yes,
when you put
and it's
on
gonna really
skin.
help everything to come together, and it's an amazing pairing of food chemistry, because everything I use in it is it's food.
I feel like you having flashbacks over there talking about it.
Listen,
your eyes just went somewhere else for a minute.
I have one on my nightstand. Okay, I make sure that never goes out of stock. Okay?
I love it. Well, we'll check in at the end of the episode just to see how we're feeling, how our skin is feeling.
Yeah.
But let's get into this hospitality and food by asking you, what is the best product out there? Let's talk about it from an edible perspective. What is the best edible out there that you feel like women should be consuming?
I mean, of course, I'm a private chef as well, so I don't only do experiences, but I do have clients who book me one-off for intimate dinners or girls' brunches, to elevate the experience. So I think that is always an amazing way for women to indulge in cannabis, because it's just so it's we're women. We love, pretty nice things. It's easy. You don't really have to overthink it. Especially when you have somebody who is as intentional and aware as I am. Sometimes people are like, I've never done this before, what should I expect? And I'm like, listen, my infusions are going to give you a euphoric, uplifting feel. It's not going to feel like, you just had some za or something, like you're stuck in a couch and you can't socialize. So I think that is always a great way to go. But also, there's a really good brand on the market, and they actually just sponsored a party we did called Anytime Seltzer.
Yes.
So I loved that brand because they come in different dosages. There's a lower level, a medium level, and then higher for people who have higher tolerances. And I think instead of drinking, sometimes that can replace your cocktail while you're out, and just add another level of experience for you.
So basically using food in a social kind of setting to kind of bring back that, like, like you said, girls out, self-care almost.
Yes. It's definitely
romanticizing our cannabis.
Romanticizing, that's exactly that's exactly the vibe. Yes.
But tell us then, how did you get into that? Getting to the point of having your private clients that you just do these private events for. Share with our audience your experience into getting into the culinary space and why you decided to add cannabis.
So I've always been a cannabis advocate since I started using cannabis myself in college. Actually, it's so crazy because before I started, I was so like, oh, that's, because of the smell. Honestly, I was like, oh, I would not do that. But then when I went to college, I actually had a lot of friends from Cali. And so they taught me about cannabis. They didn't just say, come on, let's smoke. You know what I'm saying? They taught me about different flavor profiles and, you know, different strains and, you know, not to overindulge, but to really enjoy the feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So having that as a baseline, and then also after school getting into luxury hospitality and seeing how uplifting, you know, those spaces are. Not just because it's the Four Seasons or the W, but because of those intentional details that they really pay attention to. And I'm like, this is really what we're missing out of the cannabis community, because it was made so, it was like such an anomaly, something you just don't talk about if you do, you know, and I just felt like, you know, I saw where it was going and I saw the potential of it growing, and I wanted us to be a part of that, you know, us being Black women, you know, because we always know how to really add the level of care, you know, to pair with whatever the industry is or whatever, you know, we're doing. And so I wanted to take those two worlds, the luxury hospitality world and the food world, which I was already doing culinary when I was in hospitality. So it was really a no-brainer.
And you worked with some pretty big names too.
Yeah,
in the culinary space.
I really did. Because I went to culinary school, a prominent culinary school. I knew that I wanted to go somewhere where I was going to learn how to do things correctly, not necessarily, you know, make a bunch of money, you know. But I was like, I have to learn. So I went. And my first place that I worked outside of the Fort was a Wolfgang Puck restaurant. And so I knew I was going to get my knife skills down. I knew I was going to, and it was also an Asian, like, fusion restaurant. So I knew I was going to be making a lot of things from scratch. So I did that. And then I went to the W because I was like, okay, I know that luxury hospitality is where the money is.
Yes.
So now that I got some, you know, time and, you know, I spent about a year there, and I moved up pretty quickly in the kitchen. I was like, you know, let's go luxury hospitality so I can start to make my coin and really learn even, you know, more back in that hospitality space and the luxury space. And so while I was there, that's when I was like, okay, I want to really learn the business. And so I managed the kitchen, and actually we had 3 kitchens. And so I did that, and then I forgot, there was like something happened in 2000. I want to say this is like 2014, where I had to leave there. Oh, I think we were doing renovations or something, and I worked at the Park Hyatt. So I'm really getting deep into luxury. So I'm like, okay, this is where I belong. Yes. You know, this is exactly where I belong. But I don't like how transactional it feels. You know, because although there was a level of intention on some things, I feel like there was a lack of sauce. You know, there was a lack of swag. You know?
I can imagine being in those luxury.
Yeah, it's very corporate, very structured.
Yes. So, and I appreciated the structure, and I paid attention to the structure, and I learned that aspect of it. But I was like, I have to be able to take this and convert this into something else, you know, and so and alchemize this. Yeah. And so then I went on to work for the Hyatt and Hilton, but actually on the managerial side. So I was running F&B.
Nice.
And so doing that, and also knowing that the longevity of that was not realistic because it's so much stress on the body. Yeah. Especially for a Black woman, we carry our stress. Yeah. You know, we don't feel it, but our bodies feel it. You know, and our bodies respond in a very weird way. And I had something very catastrophic happen to me where I had to say, okay, I have to leap out on faith and trust that I have done all that I can, you know, and learned all that I can in this space and transform this into a business for myself and go about it in a way that works for me, you know. And so while I was working at the corporate office for Hilton, I had a very low maintenance job, high paying, low maintenance job, because my team was self-sufficient. I worked on Infused, which is slightly why the logo looks the way that it does, because Hilton's logo is horizontal with the box, and I saw it so much that I started playing around with stuff, and I was like, oh, I like that. You know, it's like it's very like it's timeless, you know. And so with the time and the continuous inspiration, you know, with what I was doing every day, COVID hit. I leaked out, and I had the structure, I had the SOPs, I had some clientele because
that's her favorite word.
We love our SOPs. Look, I was typing up SOPs for everything before, like, I didn't have no employees, it was just me and my husband, and he was like, what? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to write this down? Why do I have to? And I'm like, because when we get into our flow, the structure will be set. You'll have a system
of the SOP.
Exactly. And so because I had that downtime to do that, and then COVID hit, and I had this clientele because I was making edibles, I was doing like cookies, and you know, when the I-71 shops and everything were running and the parties and stuff like that. So I was just networking in those spaces, and so I already had some clients because I was doing like meal preps and stuff like that. So I just kind of took those two worlds and like collided them. Yeah. And COVID did the rest, honestly, because once people were not trusting the restaurant scene, because it had closed down and then it opened back up, like, okay, you guys can come out. Right. But COVID is still, you know.
At your own risk.
Right. It's still alive and thriving. So people were like, I would rather have an experience at home.
Yeah.
And so that's when it really took off.
Just aligned.
That it literally time and me being ready when it was time to go. Like me having the time and the intention to actually work on the business before I could run it, you know, it like literally everything aligned and
just came together.
Yeah, it just came together.
So working in that luxury space, you talked a lot about like you getting the base information and the education that you received. How do you define luxury in cannabis as far as the experiences you create?
Yeah, somebody said they're having a luxury event. What should be the expectation when you show up?
The expectation should just be that, especially in the food and beverage space, there are certain, like you said, there are certain standards, you know, and those standards are not just common sense, and they're not just, like, they're very important, you know what I'm saying? When you're dealing with food, I don't think people even realize how, you know, certain decisions that the chefs and the people who are handling the food are, like, they don't realize how big they can be.
Yeah, how impactful that,
Exactly. So being intentional about having at the bottom line, you know, the standards be met, food safety, especially in hospitality.
Hot food hot, cold food cold.
Exactly. Knowing how to also your guests should understand the flow of how things are going.
So setting guest expectations.
Exactly. Like the guest interaction should be organic, but also intentional. Like I think intent is really what separates an experience from being a regular experience and an elevated experience. Intent, everything, like just, you know, having your champagne cold and not, you know, room temp, or having your red wines room temp and not cold. You know, it's just there are details, especially in the hospitality space, that are just standard, that should be paid attention to.
Well, we got to see that elevation in the intent at the event that we attended, that you hosted, and you also had your hubby with you as well.
How does it work?
How does that dynamic, like, it's very unique, right, to work with your husband. How does that influence your business and how you operate things?
So he's really based in sales. So immersing him into the hospitality space has been a very, it's been rewarding, honestly, because I always, before I even moved into running the business, I pride myself, once I was in a managerial space, on really being able to uplift and lead teams through my own leadership and through my own, like, you know, just leading in place mentality, you know, not just telling people what to do, but also showing them. And so I've had to do a lot of showing, because a lot of those things to him, almost everything was like foreign. You know, he's like, what? I gotta do what? Why do I have to, you know? And so it's been great. We've been in business since 2019. So, you know, we have some time under our belts, but it's been something that has definitely brought us together. Nice. At times it pushes us to have like harder conversations that I don't think that we would have if we didn't have to work together.
Okay. For an example?
Like personality stuff. Like my husband, he has anxiety, and the way that he reacts is like when he's in a high pressure situation, which are most, you know, hospitality situations, he kind of lashes out. And so at some point I was like, listen, you cannot keep lashing out.
You said he was a fire sign, right?
Yeah. I'm like, you cannot just pew pew. You can't just shoot off on me because you're dealing with this. Let's talk through what is overwhelming you. And let's, you know, I'll make a list, you know. And so that's me. I'm always just, you know, pushing myself to be even more systematic and structured. So to, you know, avoid him not feeling fulfilled in what we're doing.
So he's heard too.
That partnership.
Yeah, that's been I think that's been the most interesting.
So how do you balance that? Because you've also grown your family in the process of growing your business. Like, how is that balancing too? You got one cooking in the oven right now. You know, how does that work for you guys?
So it has definitely changed over time. I think now that we have more of a flow of business and, you know, our systems that we know are working, he's kind of backed up a little bit, and he's focusing in on his own thing. And he's always a muscle, or he's always, you know, a sous chef if I need one, or he knows and he understands the systems now, so it's not so overwhelming. It's more predictable, and I think that predictability helps him, you know, cope with his anxiety as well. So it's balanced out, and it's also continuously evolved. You know, it's looked different at every level, but he always makes sure that if there is something that's imbalanced, that he's helping me balance it out.
So he helps out with the kids and
everything.
All things.
Everything. We're both entrepreneurs, so we have time to really focus in on home when we need to. And sometimes, you know, the business takes a hit because home comes first. This is why this idea of building a family and building a legacy is why I catapulted myself into, okay, just have the faith and do it. You know, this is what you want to do. This space may not be the healthiest space for you, you know, working in luxury hospitality under these conditions. So, you know, if you really want to be a mom and you really want to, you know, build this family, you have to make it look the way that you want it to look. And so that's always something that, you know, we take into consideration as it relates to business, you know. So it's a great balancing act, but I think honestly that it really makes us appreciate each other and what we built together more than if we weren't doing business together.
Yeah. I know some of our listeners can't imagine working with their spouses. Like, because you're at home, then you're at work, all the time. So I'm just glad that it works.
Oh, there are times. There are times. Like, even now, he's having this personal dilemma where he's like, listen, I just want to start a new career. Focus on the career. Let you focus on the business. You know, make sure that financially we'll always have something to cover the business. You know, even if you're 7 months pregnant and you're tired and you don't want to take on any more clients. You know, he wants to be able to stabilize that. So, which I respect. You know, he's a man and, you know, he's a provider. So I respect that. So we always tap in with each other and we hear each other. You know, and I think that is really what makes a difference. It makes it possible for us to do business at any extent together. Because sometimes one of the, you know, you could be burnt out or, you know, he could be burnt out, but you have to really be able to understand your partner and listen to your partner, you know, going through the different evolutions of business.
That stood out to me that you said we hear each other, because a lot of times when people think about communication, they think about talking and communicating and getting their point across, but a big part of communication is actually listening and hearing who you're talking to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of people sleep on the idea of like being able to work with your partner, because I feel like the ultimate form of respect is to be able to, like she said, not like hear your partner, but also to be able to move in unison and to complete the mission. And if you can't do that on a business level, like your relationship, I feel like it's gonna be in shambles.
I'm saying.
So I mean that's me. I'm very big on being able to work and make money with our partner, especially with this economy. Like shit is crazy out here, guys. Like times are hard.
Yes.
One job doesn't really cut it. You have to have some type of side hustle, and so you're already spending so much time out of the house with that 40-hour job. Having to go get another job, that's taking you really honestly away from the homes. I feel like building something and being able to build something stable and strong, it's not just a reflection of your like business abilities. I feel like it's a reflection of your relationship that you have with that partner. And
well, you always say that too.
Absolutely.
You're like, if we can't make money together, she always says that.
Nothing together, baby.
I feel that way as well. I feel exactly what you just said, because like you said, if you're going and getting another job, you're taking more time away from home. Whereas if you have a partner who's like, okay, what can we do to bring this together, to make this make sense? You know, because my son, he's homeschooled and he will be homeschooled, you know, until he can say, Mom, I don't want to be homeschooled anymore. Because I feel like
that's a blessing.
He should be indoctrinated by his parents.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he should understand how we view things, you know, before somebody else is telling him how he should view things. You know, and he's very, he develops very fast. So I didn't, and I knew that before he was even born, that he was going to be that way. And I knew that he couldn't be in a space where he would have to be limited and be, you know,
not be able to shine.
Yeah, exactly. So having someone who understands the importance of, you know, really building a family together, I think it is what makes it possible for us to, you know, do business together. Sometimes you don't really want to, but he'd be like, look, this is what working, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to work because you're going to stay home with my son, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it. That's what I'm here for. So yes, definitely. You have to be able to work with your partner.
Yeah, I remember meeting you guys during COVID when we were doing a podcast with Jay Mills. Shout out to Jay. You can check her episode out. Season 1, episode 6.
How do you remember
Did
that?
it release?
6, 7?
I never saw
Yeah, she's on there.
Season
She's all these episodes. Like,
Wow.
it's nothing.
Past the J, that's available on YouTube Uncertified.
At the Brunch.
On everything. But yeah, we met there, and I remember, I don't know if you guys were y'all married at the time?
Yeah, we've been married since 2017.
I just felt like that partnership, like you could just tell, like your chemistry, the way that you guys were communicating, just on the show itself, like you could really tell, like it was a really solid connection between you two.
Definitely.
And I feel like when you have that type of a connection, like I said, it's a recipe for thriving and building something really strong and great. But then also, you know that with a service or whatever it is that you guys are providing is of quality.
Yeah.
That you guys really put your heart and soul into it, because not only do you guys love each other, but you love what you're doing.
Yeah.
And that really spoke through to like the quality of the food that you had brought for us to sample that day. And even just to the food that we had at the event a couple weeks ago. And again, we met like what? 2022, 20, I don't know. It was somewhere during COVID.
Yeah. I think it was 2021.
Yeah, so it was a couple of years ago, but again, you're still putting out that same quality. And I just wanted to say shout out to you guys and really appreciate what it is that you're doing out here.
The example that you're setting.
Mm-hmm.
And I know a lot of women will be inspired by your story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure. So you mentioned a lot about pivoting in cannabis.
Yeah.
What is one pivot that taught you the most?
My first initial pivot. Pivoting from taking on meal prep clients to, okay, listen, I'm a private chef now, baby.
Period.
You know, because I had been in the space since 2012. And, you know, I learned so much, and I feel like, you know, Black women, we have this ability to overlearn and still have a sense of imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Be the best.
Having
We know it
skills,
all.
having
Yeah.
talent, everything.
The
Like,
degrees,
I'm
the back it up.
saying, like, I was, and it's so crazy because it was my husband who had to be like, girl, you have been running teams. These people are double your age.
Yeah.
They've been in this business for 20 plus years. You've been in this business for 5 years, and you running the teams, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, you're right. You know, I can do this.
Yeah.
You know, and so that first initial jump, you know, into, okay, I say that I'm a chef, I'm gonna be that chef. You know, and I think that the timing was perfect. And just throughout time, you know, over the last 6 years or so, I've had to make little pivots and always adjust who my clientele is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because that's one thing, like, I went from having to justify my price when I first started to, you know, and nobody's asking me.
No,
They coming to me. They know exactly. I know I have to have my coins, Chef Low. I'm like, yes, yes. You know, so being able to continuously elevate myself to align with the clientele has been one of my greatest strengths that I've learned in the action of pivoting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, what's one misconception that people have about infused dieting, would you say?
Am I going to be high? Am I going to be able to do anything? Am I going to enjoy this? Like, that's so, because usually we have, like, our clientele, they're amazing. Like, they be like, listen, my mom don't do this, but she going to be at the next one, okay? You know, and then they'll literally do it. They'll throw a dinner and they'll bring mom and auntie and like, Chef Lau, you know, they said your food was good, and I saw it, and I want to taste your food, but I don't know about this. And I'm like, listen, it's going to be a good time. It's going to be an experience. Yeah. I'm going to teach you along the way. You know, whatever questions you have, please do ask. And my husband is also well versed in cannabis, because I actually, before they had, you know, the college programs, I did a university online, the Cannabis University training, and it was an extensive training, and I did that 2 years before I even started to test it out on actual clientele.
Yeah. Wow.
So I'm saying I'm going through dosing, I'm going through, volume, I'm going through strains, terpenes, I'm going through all the different mediums that I can use and how I can infuse different things so that it can still be enjoyed in a culinary experience, right? And so being able to show people that and change their minds about what cannabis is the real experience.
Through the education, yeah. And it's interesting because I know a lot of people say like, oh, when you eat, everything's better when you're high. Like, it's the food tastes better when you're high, the drinks taste better. But it's actually an article I was reading in Frontiers in Endocrinology. And cannabis, there's certain cannabinoids that interact with your brain that actually interacts with your hunger, your sense of smell, and your sense of taste. So it's not just like a thought. Yeah. It is actually physiologically
in your brain.
You know what I mean? And I go into that on my website, y'all, cannabisashley.com, if you want to learn more about digestion and how our endocannabinoid system works with that. But yeah, I think the experience that you're creating is combining those two things, and I love the way that you're educating your consumer. I think that's an important part of the experience you provide.
And they have a good time.
Yes, we had a good time. It was great.
Yes, at the party. Yes, they have a good time because I'm mindful of using sativas versus indicas, or how I'm dosing, and if it's a butter or if it's a tincture, or I'm thinking about all these things and how it stacks up in an actual culinary experience. And even if auntie is at the table and she's like, can I just get a little bit, I'm like, I got you, what I'm saying? So it's just like in any hospitality space, you have to be intentional with each guest. You can't treat everyone like they're one body. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody is different. So if she told me she don't want to do too much, or she said just put a little bit in my drink, we're taking those things into consideration. And when I tell you, like, it's always a good time. Like, they be up dancing, and the conversations are just so much more vibrant, and and they always be like, you told me it wasn't gonna be bad. And I'm like, I did. It's
that's
an
the best feeling.
Yes.
Then you send them home with some of this and be like,
now go home with your partner.
Go home and get that nightcap.
That's the dessert right there. That's the desserts right there.
It is.
But I do want to know, while we get back to our what's in your glass, and just kind of give our final thoughts on this product. You are known as Chef Lo. You do elevated food and beverage experiences. Why did you come up with this particular product, and what does it mean for your business in terms of, like, how does it help? Does it help keep people afloat? Does it help promote you? Like, why is this? And it's not a food product. So how does that tie into your brand?
So I call it food magic because it is made in the kitchen, and it is made with all food grade products. Although it's not a food itself, it just adds to the overall experience with cannabis. And I think that it makes you think about ingredients in a different way, even if you're not just ingesting them. Even the ingredients that you're putting on your body, that your skin is absorbing. So I think the things that you put on your body are as important as what you put in your body. So those are actually, I look at those as nutrients as well. And so that's really how I justify adding that. And then, I wanted to create a product line. And I've been going back and forth about whether I want to really push it and grow it. Because I see so many different lanes for it. Like, I see it pushing us into, like, the sex world. And then I see it pushing us into the massage, like, self-care world. So it's like I haven't really chosen a lane. for that product yet, but it's something that I really believe in. Honestly, we've been using it for so long. I actually debuted it at one of the tastemaker events that J Mills used to hold. And we just put them in like little packets because I was testing it out and I wasn't selling it. I was just giving it away. And actually Jamal from Bouquet, he was like, "You got more of those?"
It would be more.
And I was like, but then somebody else came behind him and was like, "Yeah, you know, I need some more too. Y'all bringing some more next week." And it's like, okay, so y'all really mess with it the way that we mess with it. Okay, I like that. And so seeing people's reactions to it is what really kept it as a staple within our business. And it's really one of our best kept secrets because there's not a lot of people who know about it. I would like that to change. But
now our buzz know about it.
Yes, but it is tried and true and it's amazing.
I like how you talked about how what you put on your skin is just as important as what you put in you. Because topicals and transdermals are a lesser known method of consumption, but it's also extremely effective. Extremely effective. And for people that don't want like a sugary cookie or, you know, they have localized pain, putting something where you can get to those
harder
joints.
to also like overdo it.
Exactly. And it is really good for pain. We have most of our clients who buy that, they buy it for their grandmother, their auntie, their moms who have, you know, arthritis here or, you know, joint problems here, and they love it.
With my clients, I do a lot of one-on-one consultations, and I always tell them, for pain, you want to put something on you and in you. Like, you want to do both at the same time. It's super effective.
Yeah.
So.
And I feel like we're so used to popping pills or putting something in that we just forget about, let's put it on as well.
Yes.
And let the skin
Headaches.
do its job.
It's everything. Headaches. To calm me down at night, my husband rubs it on my feet. It's amazing. Like, when I tell you, I sleep like a baby. It's multi-purpose, and I think it can be for, you know, so many different people. You know, like I said, from grandma to husband and wife to, you know, solo dolo to, you know, we have some poly people who really love it. You know, so it's like everybody loves it. You know, it's hard to pick a lane, but, you know, we love it so much.
Definitely something that can be multi-purpose, which is really great to be able to create something that can have a variety of uses. So Ashley, what did you think about it? I know that we have a limited use right now.
Yeah, I love the way it smells, first of all, and then I like the way it made my skin feel, and then I also love that you use food grade ingredients for those to like to explore. You know, so I'm loving it. So I can't wait to use it.
Let me know how you feel about it.
I'm gonna have to text you like, girl.
Yes.
So how many cheers would you give the product, Ashley?
Absolutely.
Yes. 5 cheers for that. Thank you, Chef Flo, for sharing your amazing product with us.
Absolutely.
Now it's time for our favorite part of the show.
My favorite segment.
Yeah, so we get to get all up in your business.
So this is Puff or Pass, where I give our guests the choice between 2 different things, and they have to tell us which one they're puffing on and which one they're passing to the left. Are you ready, Chef Flo?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, we'll make the first one a little easy. Puff or pass, cooking at home or dining out?
Y'all might be a little shocked about this one, but I'm a puff on dining out.
Okay.
And I'm a pass on cooking at home because I always cook.
Right.
I want to get served.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. What are your favorite restaurants? Give us one your favorite restaurant right now.
I love St. James. That's always an easy go-to. I just randomly found a new sneaky brunch spot, The Smith. That's downtown. I like it.
Okay.
I like it. There Highlands is a nice neighborhood spot. You can chill, catch a little vibe.
They have great food.
Yes, I love it.
Very consistent.
Yes, they are consistent.
All right, next one. Puff or pass, infused dinner or infused dessert?
Infused. I'm gonna puff on an infused dinner and
Okay.
pass on an infused dessert. Only because I really don't usually do dessert.
Okay.
And yeah, the dinner is sexier, I think.
Is that because that's not like a specialty of yours? Because when it does come to like culinary experience, like desserts is a totally different.
Oh, I do desserts.
Okay, you do.
I do desserts.
Okay.
And those are really the that's the course that really get them.
Yeah, that's when you show off, huh?
Yeah, that's the course that get them, especially because usually, the more decadent something is, the heavier the infusion is.
Mm-hmm.
So I always let them know, like, y'all are going to party for a nice hour and a half or so, but when you go to sleep and it's time for you to go down, this dessert is going to take you down.
Put you down. All right. Puff or pass? Music while high or movies while high?
Definitely puffing on music while high.
Music while high.
Passing
Okay.
on movies because I always fall asleep.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And what are you listening to right now?
Ooh, I love Sabrina Claudio. I throw a little 21 Savage in there every now and
It's
then.
real mix. Mix it up a little bit. Okay.
I love Daniel Caesar. He really couldn't do no wrong in my eyes. Yeah, that's what I'm listening.
All right, and our final one for you, puff or pass, self-care day or girls' night out. Now, this is when you're not pregnant. Self-care day or girls' night out.
Definitely self-care. I'm puffing on self-care.
Okay.
Not necessarily all the way passing on a girls' night out because I love a good girls' night out.
Yeah.
But for me, self-care is just so. I don't even. It's so important, especially as a wife, a business owner, and mom. Even before being a mom, like I just think self-care helps us to really debrief.
Mm-hmm.
Remember I said that, especially as a Black women, we carry and we like our stress kind of sits and lives in us. And I think that's the time where you can really annotate that. You can really say, okay, I had a couple of headaches this week, or I wasn't really feeling like, myself, or, you can really kind of go through that and analyze that in those self-care spaces.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, because I like to take it to the salt cave. I go to the salt cave. I go to the floating pods. Yes. So, yeah, I love a good self-care.
Well, that was puff or pass, y'all, where there are no wrong answers, just real ones. And you definitely passed the vibe check, Chef Lo.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Now, tell the listeners where they can find Chef Lo, how they can book you for an experience, and most importantly, where they can get some fuel.
Okay. So right now, fuel is only available in person at our meetups. We do a monthly meetup at the Lily. It's a beautiful Black-owned art gallery in DC. And I always link that to our Instagram page. It is Infused Experience, and that is NFSD Experience on Instagram. And I also have a page, and that is Luxury Lo the Chef on Instagram. And no, it's not on TikTok. I was about to say, no, it's not on TikTok. I forgot my TikTok name because I don't use it. But yes, that's where I can be found right now.
Anything we can look forward to in 2026 from Infused or Chef Lo?
Yes, so I'm diving more in my chef bag. I am starting to roll out a space where I can do more of a speakeasy vibe, where I'll be providing tasting menus and different vibes each time, as well as a series of chef's tables. I do shoot content, and now I'm extending space for people to actually sit at the table.
Yeah.
And so that you can get real commentary and, really get the inside scoop on what I do and how I do it and how it tastes.
Yes.
We would definitely love to pull up to that table.
Absolutely.
You guys will definitely.
You got to return the favor.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Chef, for joining us today and sharing with people about Hi, Cuisine and hosting. You really helped us fulfill this chapter in the Grown Woman's Guide to Cannabis by letting us know that, you know, have the expertise behind what you do. And yeah. Also, not only that, but you also putting in the work behind it in terms of educating people about what it is that they are going to experience and incorporating those two together to provide people with luxury elevated experiences has been a great deal of appreciation in order for you guys while you are contributing to this chapter, and why we decided to have you on the show today. So thank you very much again for contributing to this. And Buds, we really hope you guys learned something today. Make sure you guys check out Chef Flo and Infused at her monthly meetups. Grab yourself some fuel and indulge in the great and delicious foods that she will be cooking up for you guys. And we'll be cooking up some more great episodes here on the Bud Brunch, so make sure you stay tuned in on YouTube and Spotify
at the Bud Brunch
on everything.
And that's it for this Sesh Buds. Thanks for vibing with us.
I'm your co-host Lucia,
and I'm your co-host Ashley, and this is the Bud Brunch, where we do it for the culture,
for the community,
for the conversation.
Until next time, bye.
What's up? I'm Barbara Biddle with District Botanicals. We're talking the business of boldness with the Grown Women's Guide to Cannabis with the
Now